What's good, y'all? DJ Empirical's here, so we can get started. Hear ye, hear ye. We are gathered here today to make some noise. And it's so cold here, and now it's actually like the sun has come out and it's like shining through the window, and I'm like, got multiple layers on here. Starting to get a little warm. Scarf is coming off soon. Seth says, do you ever get the feeling when you walk outside it feels like just a cold refrigerator? Oh, man. Yeah, DJ Empirical, you did. You mentioned a track a week. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And let's see who's here. Martin's here. Martin, you were first. Bunch. Welcome in, homie. How are things? Saffron, welcome in, brother. Thank you so much for the flexibility on the session. I appreciate it. 808 Diffraction is here, lurking in the background. Connected is here. What's up, homie? Happy hump day to y'all. Also got Paul here tuning in from chilly Maryland. Chilly here too in Portland. Martin making the commitment to producing only on the Mac from here on out. Tired of getting the blue screen to death. I do not blame you. Yeah. We're all sipping tea today. I am having some Earl Grey. What are you having? Your parents put water bottles outside in freezing iceberg. Is it just to freeze them and save space in the freezer? Ooh. Okay, so DJ Empirical's making a new track a week and then using this music in the background while he's streaming. He's got a good one he's going to release here. You have a porch outside and no room for bottles. Oh, man. Connected, sitting there sipping some coffee. All right. We're all getting our caffeine in. Let's listen to this thing that DJ Empirical's just dropped here. Where am I going? I'm going here. Wait, that's the one from Ben. We'll go here. Ooh, this will pump you up, or pup you up. Vile force of darkness. Caballo, welcome in. Happy hump day to you. Ooh, it's got this classic vibe right out the gate. This track is 420. The bio walking in the door, also 420. Dude, seriously? Wait, hold on. Stop that. Okay. I love this. I love this. I think variations, and this is golden. Maybe a little, like just a touch less low end. Let's move the cutoff up just a tiny bit. Like this is really nice. I love where the bit crush is sitting, sitting for the percussion. I love it. And this is your first swipe at D&B. Giving Connected some Luigi's Mansion vibes. Solid. Solid. Connected says, I dropped a concept I've been working on in the Discord. It's a song I showed already, but I pushed the theme a lot further. Ooh. Okay. Ah. Yeah, Caballo said he put something in there too. Yeah, man. This is fun. Let us know when you release this one, and then share links with us so we can all put it into playlists and whatnot. STP. Welcome in, homie. Happy hump day. Right? Right? Yes. Man, old school arcade culture. It was the best. The best. Yeah, excellent. Excellent. Good to hear it. All right. Let's hit the Discord and see. Z4's here. Welcome in, Z4. Tomba came by, but missed the last stream. So if they come by today, we might have to circle back and listen to this. Something new. Yeah, actually, arcades are still alive and well. We were planning on having Nico's birthday party at the same arcade that we rented last year. Just rented the whole thing, and it was a super awesome time. So wanted to do that exact same thing again. But they've gone out of business because a Claw City opened up in the same exact parking lot, like next door to the place, and just put this old school. This was all old school boxes. No, nothing new in it. So it's pretty special, actually. Um, but it's also like the third arcade to open here in this small town, in this town. This because we're like in a suburb area. In the last like year and a half. So arcades are still pretty popular here. But nothing they I don't like the new trend of like what they put inside of the bigger ones, like the Chuck E. Cheeses and whatnot. All of those games just basically suck now. I mean, the skee ball is still mostly the same, but all of the other games they just don't really have. Uh, they don't have the juice. You know what I'm saying? So most folks around here are big fans of the independent arcades where you've got some modern games that are pretty sweet, like big title arcade games that are new, right? Kind of pushing the edge of technology. And then you've got lots and lots of classic, like sit down table games, Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, all that good stuff. But then Rose, pinball, and plenty of them, they have bars inside of them too, so you can like drink and play video games all night or all day. You're someone that just never grew up and got a job. Ghosts and Goblins. Oh man. Jesse Bagco, welcome in. Hey, Martin's back with tea. What kind did you make? Tekken and the old school retro games for Saf. Uncle loves pinball. Badger. Jesse Badger. Thank you very much for correcting me. I don't like saying people's names incorrectly, so. Honey with berry. All right. Mullion tea. Connected. It's you, hubby. And then, where are we? Caballo, are you Z4? All right, connected. You are Z4. Okay, cool. Gilly. Let's see what this is about. All right. I'm all about vision. I like this art, by the way. Ooh. Yeah, Paul. Video games are in you for life.
Lieutenant, the meeting is underway. Enemy transport sighted entering the target area. Remember what I taught you. Keep in mind variable humidity and wind speed along the body's flight path. At this distance, you also have to take the Coriolis effect into account. Okay, I think I see him. Wait for my mark. Target's quiet. Stand by to engage. Steady. Open fire. Target is down. Nice shot, Lieutenant. Shut fell onto us. What's your goal? Take it out the helicopter. You'll buy us some time. Delta 2-4. We have been compromised. Alpha 6, heading to extraction point. Looks like we're in the clear. We should get moving. Easy, copy. Great shot, Lieutenant. Now let's go. There'll be searching for it. We'll have to take a shortcut. Follow my lead. L6, Big Bird is en route. ATA 20 minutes. Don't be late. We're touching out fuel as it is. It's out.
All right, dude, I like it. I think your vision is great. And I think all you really need to do now is sprinkle in a little bit more fairy dust, a little bit more environmental sound, a little bit of texture layer for additional grit to kind of reinforce um, the aesthetic, right, that you're placing us into. Get the dialogue samples up, right, because these are comms, they'd be in our ear, basically, right, and we want to feel like heads up, right, like this is us. Um, So I'd bring the dialogue up just a little bit with some transparent overdrive, target 7K, hit it with 3.5 gain, adjust loudness to taste. Just make sure that it sits above everything. But that'll give it a little extra harmonic content up high. So it'll cut through the dialogue just a little bit. And you'll also get the little radio squelches and whatnot just a little bit more. 111, this open fire dialogue moment can use a couple of sound effects to accent and just kind of bolster this moment emotionally, right? And again, just kind of tie it back into environmentally what's happening in the landscape of this soundscape, right? So I think that perhaps a bullet whizzing past, right? And you can get really creative with it, right? Because you can have uh, like a speeding bullet sound for velocity, and then maybe you could have like a suck back waiting for it at the point of impact, right? So you get the right, so it's like you get this kind of push pull super vibey thing because it's still music, right? Dialogue accent at 139, more environmental sounds, right? Not accenting the actual words spoken, but accenting around it with environmental sound effects to create more of an emotional impact. 155, brilliant. This is brilliant processing on the dialogue sample right there in that moment. I think it deserves a little echo, so give it a delay. And give us like maybe two echoes, right? One that's pretty darn noticeable. So I don't know, maybe like a 45% wet or something like that, and like a 60% feedback or 70% feedback. These impact sound effects in the background, they're great. I think they need more saturation, post reverb for a bigger, more enveloping effect, right? So you'll have to bring them down in volume, but this will help you kind of play with proximity and stuff, right? So when you're saturating post reverb, you're really kind of blowing up all of the ambience around that sound effect as well. And then you can choose to kind of filter down and volume down if you want it more in the distance, or if you want it more up front, you don't filter down at all. Push the volume a little bit. Just don't leave too much low end rumble in the reverb, and it'll keep your mix pretty clear. In the beat, little variations in the beat delivery, subtle, periodic, not constant. So pick like 4 or 5 spots in the entirety of the track. Figure out a nice little reversal for one of them, right? Get a little retrigger in another one. Do a little resequence in another one. You know what I mean? Just super subtle, but put them in there. 319 impact can have a little bump down low with sub impact accent. So this one, what I'm talking about is at 319, there's this impact sound. Layer a sub impact boom there, just like a oof, like a cinematic one. It's kind of creamed out. And then around 336 during this outro phase, toss in a few extra random booms with like maybe some debris, because this is like, still warfare. There's stuff happening out there, right? But it's not in our headset, right? So it's distant. So more of a mental play at that point. Martin likes this. DJ Empirical likes this. 808 Diffraction likes this. STP says, nice panning. Merritt, yeah, we'll do a little bit of feedback, I think. Jay McDouble, welcome in. Happy hump day to you. Saf says, Radiohead style vocals. Freakin', welcome in. Hmm. Okay. Well, connected. It sounds to me like what you need to do is during the uh, production streams that I'm doing, where I'm focused more on um, the cinematic stuff. Just pay attention to the order of operations in which things are stacked, like in the effects chain, as I'm working on um, the main types of sound design shapes, if you will, or um, there's kind of this class of like 5, 6 different sounds that are the basis of which everything else is kind of spun out from. So booms are part of hits, right? So watching how I process hits, for instance, for like uh, distance, proximity, velocity, all of that kind of stuff, grit, texture. Because I feel like you're now at the point where it's really these kind of fine detail, these finer detail, kind of nuanced elements that you're wanting to place and um, like execute well. Most of it is EQ. Like once you get the right sounds into the palette, right, getting everything to fit. Um, but there is a departure from the thought processes involved in processing things for speakers for music versus processing things for screen, right? So when you're adopting and bringing over stuff from the cinematic side of stuff over to music, you just kind of have to bring over some of the weird mayhem that happens to really make stuff pop. Yeah, yeah. I think that's like your next big level up, honestly. Mm. Oh, which movie, Jesse? Yeah, connected. I think cinematic, like hybrid stuff in general, is not just awesome and popular, but it'll be not just popular, but like more and more relevant over time. Because I think that we've just been moving towards um, soundtrack stuff in general uh, since the '70s. Really, honestly, I think uh, it's hard not to. I think it's an inevitability because we're chasing what we were blown away by as kids the rest of our lives, basically. So yeah, above and beyond. Wicked, got it. Yeah, I heard that it's just truly incredible, like on all fronts. I have not experienced it yet. Drummer boy, thank you. Hey, yeah, cut off all the hair again. Z4, let's listen to you. Caballo. This one's called Coriolis. Oh no, wait, sorry, I was up one line. Here we go. Yo, I love the laid back vibes here. I think there's room for you to play with noise just a little bit more in this, using maybe even just a combination of tape and vinyl together to create kind of a really um, uh, super tasty kind of groove. Like right now, I feel like you've got a really nice beat, but it does lack a sense of groove in a couple of spots, and I think that it's really just like these little like half second, these little microsecond moments where if there was just like a little uptick of tape sample before that hit or something like that, it would feel just a little bit more juicy. So playing with just these really small, nuanced bits of noise, I think would be really nice. And some variations in the delivery of the beat itself would also be great. You know, when listening towards the end of this, I couldn't help but think of some of Dilla's stuff and about how there would be these hesitations, right? These waiting for the last possible moment before laying down a little hit, and um, getting a little bit more human in the delivery of the beat itself, I think would also really spice this thing up. So those are two really, really nuanced things. This whole thing is really nice already. Um, so this is really just dressing. Sparkles. I like this. Let's see what... yeah, Wild is a good gift for this one, right? Paul says, nice groove. Room for ear candy throughout. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Badger. Jesse Badger. Get your life. Hey, this is a great picture, by the way. When Breaking Bad was happening back in the day, and Badger made his short little appearance there the first time. Everyone in our friend circle was such a big fan at that moment. We were all like, Badger for life. And some of us still like greet each other that way, which is absolutely hilarious to me. And for whatever reason, whenever I see Badger as a name or Badger, it takes me back to that. It makes me smile just a little bit on the inside. Right? Right? Everyone's talking about that guy. If you go back to those couple of years, right? Yeah, STP. I think you are thinking exactly what I'm thinking on that last one, right? Just take a couple things off grid just a little bit, create a little sense of hesitation, and it messes with our ability to anticipate. And that is what makes the groove happen in the pocket. Martin says, wait, is that a cat? Yeah. That cat looks like it might always be in constant motion. All right, let's do this.
Mailbox 1. You have 15 old messages.
Hey, this is Jesse again. Just wanted to update you. I've been thinking about the left and falling down into the right. Feeling like I'm deaf, but I can hear the beat alright. I'm talking to my shrink, he say I need to satisfy the craving that he thinks will probably keep my soul alive. I've been craving for a new wave to form, a new light to fall in my eyes. Been hoping for a new day to come, and it's just mine. Oh, I never meant to stay who I am today. Oh, well, let me know. Be the one you really need in life. How to make the world your bitch and be alright. How to get your life. How to be the one you really need in life. How to make the
voicemail. But if you hear this, please call back. Again, this is Jesse. Badger, your friend from across the street.
I love the qualifier at the end there. Your friend from across the street. Okay, not only is this fantastic, but I'm watching this thing happen in the chat right now, which you have to jump on. Martin's like, dude, can I try and mix this? Let him do that. Let him do that. That would be amazing, because the vocals are going to pop in a way that you have never heard vocals pop in your music. Yeah, this is fantastic. All of this track is great. I love this. You've brought by something else that was just like instantly infectious in a very similar way. Yeah, it does, right? It's got a really good, fun quality to it. It's an infectious energy for sure. Yeah, happy people making happy things here. That's gonna be in my head, right? Leaky Balloon. That's a fantastic name, by the way. Happy Hump Day. Made me smile while listening to it. Yeah, same. Also need to help out the cat, you know. The cat made the song. Jesse's just fronting. Cat's like, get out there, push the beat, and buy me more treats, damn it. And bring back the good catnip. Tired of that cheap stuff. This dude just came up and sang the lyrics that the cat wrote. The cat's actually just whispering in his ear there in that picture. Oh, man. Right? That's not laughter. That's me trying to get the cat's tail out of my face. Oh, yeah. You guys never see my cat. That's because if she was in here, she would take over the stream. You've got a big black cat named Bo as well. What's this one's name in this picture? Oh, Parsley? Oh, Parsley's asleep right now. I don't think she's coming in here right now. Right? Nighttime streams. There's footage of her showing up during nighttime streams. Riot for the cat. She's a super, super shy, skittish rescue cat that is absolutely glued to me most of the time. Odetta. Oh, that's a great name. She's a folk singer from the 60s, 70s. Odetta. That's a great cat name. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, Paul's got a new cat in the house. She's a calico. Yeah, we've got a dilute calico. That's what Parsley is. And I love this about dilute calicos because they're apparently pretty rare. Clouded Tiger is one of their little alt names, like another name they're known by, which I love because that's a great description of her. She's like a clouded tiger. Just when you think you're safe, bam, more slashes. Oh, Leaky Balloon says, thanks, been lurking in your channel for a while. Nate the Sound Ninja told me you're the guy if I want to learn more about mixing and production. Hey, thank you, Nate. Big love, homie. Nate's wonderful. He's fantastic. He's good people. And welcome in, Leaky Balloon. Hope you find it enjoyable here. Yeah, we love our cats. You love my cat too. Yeah, well, I couldn't make music without a cat, so not really possible. If you've ever read the manual for a synth, you'll notice that you can't actually physically operate them if you don't have a cat. So it's just the way it works. Wait a minute, you're gonna meet up with Rokusai? IRL? So what's happening? Are you guys just going to be in collab bliss forever now that you've got a label and in the family, and yes. Go to the Netherlands with the wife. Oh, nice. That's going to be a good time. Get Jervis has cat issues, huh? Oh, no. Jervis's cat Jackson is the star of his dreams. Oh, man. Oh, LFO 3. That's awesome. I love this. J McDouble, let's slide into this track. This one's called Oh Neck. Fly Together. This is fantastic. This idea of LFO 3 as a cat name. It's brilliant. 1K.
Everything going wrong, everything falling down. Tell me where should I go? Feel like I've been running around, trying to go another round, trying to shoot another round, trying to hit another town, trying to earn another crown. Where should I go? She want a pink pill, I want a blue pill. I wanna feel love, this shit don't seem real, this shit don't seem right. I hope it's a real deal, I hope that you here to stay, cause babe, I'm gonna leave here. We on the mountain, we going sky high. Yes, I be stepping, she know I get fly high. She wanna step, we getting fly together, we getting high together, baby, we gon' get minds together.
J McDouble, this is fantastic. I think bass down. It's a little forward in this. Loves are a little hot. Like I'd back off. It's not by much, but there's just a little bit of like hysteresis kind of creeping in. It feels like we're close to clipping there. So yeah, threshold down by 2, I think. Low end cutoff up to 40 hertz. 12 dB per octave curve. That's going to make the whole thing be perceptively louder when you're going to shave off just a tiny little bit of stuff that's like between 20 hertz and 30 hertz or so when you do that. And then that energy is just going to be redistributed into your track. So you might need to take that down just a little bit more after you do that. Everything else feels good in this. I really like the vibe. I think your palette is solid. It's well crafted. Drummer Boy says hats were a little stabby. I felt as well, but I think that's kind of solved. I was chalking that up to part of the clippiness that we were getting from the luffs being a little bit hot. But I do agree with that statement. So listen with a really critical ear on different playback systems, like not what you're producing on. And if the hats are sticking out just a little bit too much, bring them back just a little bit. Martin, Jesse, plotting, planning. It's great. Liv says, also, people tend to crank up high-end elements when the low end is too much to compensate. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Right, Martin? Right? Man, it's good. People walking into the chat, just the right moment. Boom. New collab. Love that. All right, Martin's got one here for us. Ooh. Levincon collab. Instrumental. Clippy Luff Slapper should be a plugin. Clippy Luff Slapper is like... Man, that's a track waiting to happen. That sounds like the only words in the track that constantly get juggled. Respect the gazelle. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Jamie Tubble. There's some free sounds in the subscriber rewards channel here. Just make sure that your Twitch and your Discord profiles are linked. We need to put new sounds in there, and I still haven't actually felt like getting back to work yet for the new year. So we're just kind of goofing off yet again in this stream today. We'll make some music. We'll make another track. But I'll swap out new sounds in there for you guys shortly. So everybody that's subbing right now is going to get extra. Let's listen to this thing. Yo, dude, I love this. I love this little dark turn at 55 seconds. I like the pace that the intro kind of unfolds. And the only thing that I have a question about is like the clarity of these guys back here. Is kind of the strings and synths in the backing section. Because at some point in the track, like I want like a full revelation for them, even if it's only like at the very, very end of the song, like in a last final release or something like that. Yeah, it's pretty drenched, but I mean, I do like how and where it is sitting there. But if you were to disclose more of it at some point, and I kind of like the idea of right at the end, it's like yanking the sheet off right at the end, right? And like, look what's underneath. But it would totally show that all of that was like intentional restraint, right? Which would just make the feeling of anticipation and all of that tension and, you know, the understated vibe, all of that would be reinforced like tenfold in that last final fleeting second. You know what I mean? Like people would want it right back in it. So maybe that would be kind of a cool. Yeah. A little upward compression, like just this feeling of like whoosh. Grog, welcome in. Happy Wednesday to you. Yeah, you can submit something if you like. Yeah, I like that idea, Martin. Excalibadja. Jesse's back with another. Excellent. Thank you for the amazing wiggles in the airs. Seriously, Martin. All your stuff is amazing. Connected is really pushing this campaign. I feel like it's deeply necessary to have a fully fledged female vocal. Yeah, I think Martin agrees. Okay, nice. Jesse says, I was listening to this song over and over like a maniac. All right. This one's called Airplane. It's a work in progress. This is a fantastic image, by the way. Is this a seagull back here? Or, yeah. I'm going to stare at this image for a minute.
He gave her colors,
Okay, there's this guitar playing right here at the end. Acoustic bass line. And I'm thinking maybe that actually gets moved over to the side a little bit. Tomba's here. Hey, homie, welcome in. You actually have a track in the queue that we can scroll up and take a listen to if it's still relevant for you. Yeah, just a note there. Scrolling back up to the top of this one, I love the vocal delivery for Out. I think the backing ensemble should come up in that intro bit. It felt better, like it came up and it had much more full presence later. But in that intro area, I would love to have it be more established early. And then some active volume modulation during the vocal delivery to accent syllables and really drive the emotional impact, like surging accents, like really getting close to the microphone in the middle of delivering a syllable. You know what I mean? So getting in there and doing just a little bit of detail work. So that's really, I mean, everything is great as is. This is more just for like goosebumps. And I think that the vocals are really great. They're so just genuinely engaging that I think the guitar feels like it's just lacking slightly. Like it needs a little finishing touch, like a little extra saturation to make the strings kind of shine a little bit. It's a little jealous, I think. It's probably the spotlight. Errol DeVille, welcome in, homie. Happy New Year to you. It's been a minute. How are you? Martin says, vocal performance 11 out of 10. Yeah, you know, oftentimes when people bring through a work in progress in this type of music, a lot of people are like, oh man, you know, you should sit up straighter when you're recording and stuff like that. Not this one. Not this one. Leaky Balloon says, those chorus vocals were so good. Errol lost the other Twitch account. No! Well, welcome back. Welcome in again. Jesse says, I am the chorus vocals. Welcome to Jesse's world. It's all Jesse all the time. Is there anything in your tracks that is not you, Jesse? I'm just kind of assuming. Tomba, do you want us to go back and listen to the one that you had posted when you missed us? Because if so, we can. Sing and write and mix. Yeah. Yeah. Sweet. Okay. Yeah. We'll listen to that right after we listen to Errol. Excellent. Errol, thank you for the biddies, by the way. Appreciate you, homie. Hope 2025 is treating you all right so far. Let's see what you've cooked up. This one says Soul Rot Symphonic Ritual. And look at the art. If you do not succumb to the art, it's going to visit you in your sleep tonight. Just saying. It's like a curse. Something. All right. Errol, I think this is great. There's some ideas here. I wrote a lot. It's not a reflection of how I feel about the track. I think the track is great. I just think there's some stuff in here. Love the 165 BPM. Movement is required. Love the reversal elements. Okay, so I like everything that you've got going on in here. I think your palette is super choice. I don't think you are missing any elements, and I don't think that you need to remove any elements. I think the large majority of all of this is EQ work. It's just skinnying up the frequency range of the sounds that are operating at any one time in your mix. That's really it. So go through all the tracks in your project and try to remove the low frequencies that you can out of all of the sounds, which means that, you know, any of your mid-range sounds, for instance, let's say, you know, the focal point of the character of the sound is up here somewhere, you probably don't need any of these frequencies down here, right? There's plenty of other operators in your mix that need that space, and then you might even be able to shave off additional with some sort of a shelf. And also, conversely, those lower range elements, right? Those guys, you know, the lowest should probably be cut off around like 40, 45 hertz with a 12 dB per octave curve. So really, really gentle, which will help the bass kind of shoot out of the speakers a bit more, which means you'll probably also need then to tap down in the mid-range. It's probably somewhere between 500 and 1K to help some of the other elements sit well, because that bass, again, is going to fire out of the speaker like a cannon. So help out the other sounds as you can. Make good use of the panning to move mid-low and mid-range elements away from center. That will make a little bit more room available for the bass to operate. Now, adjust the decay of the bass synth to be slightly shorter for more clarity with this rapid articulation. As you move up in BPM and you've got a really fast rolling bass line, you do want there to be not like a really sharp pluck, but you want it to get out of its own way as quickly as possible there. Great change up, 335. I really like the degradation of sound. All the tape stuff you've got happening there is really great. A little more humanization on the violin. It felt just a little rigid, even though it's being degraded and there's sauce being poured over this whole thing. Still, take the time, humanize the violin just a little bit more, and it's going to be even more better. More better. 420, greater focus on the creepy breathing. I'd blow that up into the main ambience there and just make the whole thing really immersible. So, or immersive. So, perhaps even a little more saturation on the reverb to assist in that. Nice return to the main theme, by the way. And when you did, there's a bit more clarity in the mix. So compare the mix from the first section to this section and make some notes, right? What are you doing differently in the first couple of minutes of this track versus the last couple of minutes of this track? After you make the notes and you kind of correlate what's happening there, save some presets and still continue to dig in, because even though it was more clear in the second half, there is more clarity to be gained. So whatever you've done to make it more clear, just a little bit more of it, all of that effort will be worth it. Really nice ear candy palette you've got cooking here. You can make it a greater priority in the mix, bring down the rhythmic synth. You don't have to bring up the ear candy by any means. It's at a good level. You just make it a greater priority by bringing other things down around it or moving things to help support the ear candy is really what it is. So bring down the rhythmic synth, the noise-based one, move the candy further out to the sides, take a little bit of the low end out of them so there's a little bit less impact on the sides. 744 felt like a little hiccup in the bass there. Not sure if that was streaming or if that was in the arrangement. And then just in general, just as like a finishing comment here, just variations. Really subtle, but noticeable variations in the baseline, in the pulse synth, the rhythmic synth, just kind of throughout, right? It's 7 minutes 45 seconds. There's one big change up in the middle, but it is 7 minutes 45 seconds. So do whatever you can to incorporate little variations, not just ear candy. You don't have to go in and rework everything. And it's also not just like an easy bake oven thing. My best suggestion is to go in and start making some long and short form automation changes, right? Open and close filters over time, bring up and down volume level of things over time. This is a really good place to start when trying to figure out what you're going to do for variations, because when you're doing this, you're carving away stuff that isn't actually necessary. And when you start to get a little bit more towards less is more, your brain can actually realize some of the things that could be occurring. It can start to recognize potential again. So carve, and try and figure out some subtle variations. And this is a solid one. I'm going to put this in. Thank you again for the biddies. I'm going to put this into the thread for you here. Hey, Samsung. How you doing, homie? I am doing feedback, so yeah. I guess we are. The glasses on the squirrel bob. Tomba. That's great. Good feedback from Tomba in the chat as well. Samsung, Happy New Year to you as well. Hope you've been doing all right. Hope you've had a good New Year, had good holidays. Hope you got some good downtime in. Before we listen to you, Samsung, we are listening to this track right here from Tomba. All right, this one is called Coriolis. See what it sounds like. All right. Tomba, I like this. I'd love to hear little subtle modulations affecting the chords. Right? It's if we go back to just the very beginning of this. It all feels like it's almost too easy for these chords. Everything's happening completely unobstructed. Everything's pretty. It's a little bit too. Yeah, it's a little too easy. A little too easy for this guy. We need to rough it up just a little bit, I think. Nothing harsh. Just tiny little things. Now, this could be a number of different things, right? You could put a noise track into your song. You could then make sure that you cannot hear the noise track in this song, right? So this thing's set to no output, and by noise I mean like vinyl crackle or something like that, right? Now you send that to the track that the chords are on. You've got a compressor at the very end of your chain on that thing, right? You side chain to the vinyl crackle track. See where I'm going with this? And then you have it duck the delivery of the chords as they're being delivered based upon the audio coming from the vinyl crackle, right? So now every once in a while you're going to have these tiny little jitters in the chords as they're being delivered, but it's going to be an amplitude jitter, right? And it's not going to affect anything else. Or something like that. It doesn't have to be that, but something kind of subtle that is going to make us go, oh, there's some touches here. Like we're in store. Like we're in store for something special, right? It's like a little foreshadowing kind of thing. Okay, 58 seconds. Nice little wiggle there in the transition. 110, little less low end in the ARP. It feels like it's the right sound at the right time, but it also feels like it's got frequencies down there that just don't need to be there, like 100 hertz and lower. You can probably roll up higher than that. Bass down a couple and roll up the low end on it to 50 hertz, 12 dB per octave. No rumble required in this guy, although when you do that, it doesn't mean that all of your subfrequencies are going to be eliminated. In fact, when the bass goes away at 153, you feel kind of a loss as it drops out. What you'll lose is probably the feeling of loss when the bass dips out there, because it's the rumble that is disappearing that we feel the loss of, right? We're feeling this kind of like, and then when it goes away, the whole vibration and everything stops, and that's really what we're noticing more than anything else. So hopefully this plays out that way. 244 vocal is nice, but I think you can play more with the breathy reverb and echoes a bit more if you take out more of the low end from the reverb. That will help it stay a bit more airy and bright and light. And then if you actively modulate the decay parameter of the reverb, you can extend and contract the size of the reverb clouds coming off of this thing, or the resulting ambience. Do not actively modulate the reverb size. That will change the pitch of stuff and it'll be all weird. Yeah, I can send you this. Proxima, how you doing? Happy New Year. Could you increase the attack on the chord? Yeah, you absolutely can. And it doesn't have to be in a static position. That too is another thing that you can affect over time, right? Just imagine some of the chord hits have a bit more transient than others, right? And really that is how humans would behave, right? If we were actually playing these things in real time for our audience, all that stuff kind of changes over time. So the more touch that you can put on those chords especially, the more it'll be felt, the whole thing. Mm. Yeah, the intro, it does feel kind of raw. Yeah, like it's yeah, like I was saying, it feels like it's just a little too easy. Little too easy. Samsung. Oh, good, and Proxima's got a placeholder here. This is fantastic news. Now that I hear this after a few days not listening, I don't like the intros too raw. Is it the type of wave on the bass? Let's see here. No, it's not the type of wave on the bass. I'm with you now in your question. It's not. It's more of just an EQ thing. Samsung. Let's see what kind of beautiful stuff you've made for us today. It's 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Let's do it.
We don't gotta fall. I just wanna float. It don't gotta be love. Couldn't hurt. Yeah. 'Cause we don't gotta fall. I just wanna float. It don't gotta be love. So don't get me in the back of my car. I won't take you too far. I wanna show you the stars. To know you hard. I got somewhere we could go that nobody really know. I need the key to your soul before I open up your door. I know you're fine. I just wanna hear sweet nothings from you. Promise I won't waste your time. But you wanna spend it on me, don't you? But this work, we don't gotta fall. I just wanna float. It don't gotta be love. Couldn't hurt. Yeah. 'Cause we don't gotta fall. I just wanna float. It don't gotta be love. Ow. When's the last time you did something for the first time? Ow. When's the last time you did something for the first time? I like the look on your face. Give me some, a little taste. Let you finish first, please. Give me some curves that I can trace. I almost stay in the lines. I do get sloppy sometimes, but that's the thing compared to the way I think it can work mine. I know you're fine. I just wanna hear sweet nothings from you. Promise I won't waste your time, but you wanna spend it on me, don't you? But with this work, we don't gotta fall. I just wanna, it don't gotta be love. Couldn't hurt. Yeah. 'Cause we don't gotta fall. I just wanna, it don't gotta be love. It don't gotta be
Ooh. Samsung. Samsung. Maybe we should just change your name to Stankface. Same amount of syllables. Oh man. So good. Okay. Disco stabs were fantastic. I'd say if you bring the chords down 7 dB and you bring the bass down 5 dB and you bring the luffs down a couple, this thing's sitting in a pretty good spot. I love how the mix is feeling at 122 specifically. If we were to like go back in time.
Let you finish first, please. Give me some curves.
A little overdriven there.
Look on your face.
Like this.
Give me some, a little taste. Let you finish first, please. Give me some curves that I can trace. I almost stay in the lines. I do get sloppy sometimes, but that's the thing compared to the way I think it can work mine.
Huh. Right? Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, your stuff is really actionable. Like, I don't think there's anyone that doesn't move when we get to your tracks. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate when you bring in music. It's always a good, uplifting moment for everybody. Seriously. Really like the vibe of this one. The other thing that I didn't type out is that the vocal feels pushed to the point where there's a little bit of hysteresis happening, like a little bit of kind of clippiness happening. So if you back off of that, that'll feel a little bit better. KDHD, thank you for the biddies, homie. Happy New Year. Hope you've been well. Proxima's got something coming, and I think that we're going to see something from Leaky Balloon here, I think. Leaky Balloon made mention of something earlier. And I might still jump into a DAW here and make music, but first I'm going to go to a different DAW, and I'm going to hit play, and I'm going to put you guys on hold as I go hit the bathroom really quick. I'll be right back. We're back. Ah, well, thank you, Proxima. Excuse me. Little background music for a gripping interview piece. Documentary type stuff. Let's see I've got... Oh, well, thank you. I've got something over here. Velvet goat cheese. Welcome in. Happy hump day to you. No worries. I am about to check my... you sent something to say... Where is this? My email? You know what? I'm not seeing it. Which email did you send it to? Leaky Balloon. Oh, no worries. No worries. Just trying to point you in the direction. Aller at OhmLab.tv. Yeah, that should have hit me. That's really weird. Let me just check. Okay, let's see here. Hey, do me a favor. Send it again. Hit it, OhmLabMusic@gmail. And we'll listen to that. I'm not sure why I didn't see that. Check my stuff here. Just double checking a couple of things, making sure that other people are going to be able to reach me okay if they're sending stuff through. Maybe there's a little issue happening on the back end or something. Apologies for that. No worries, Leaky Balloon. It's all good. Proxima, let's listen to you, and then we'll listen to Leaky Balloon. Kick and rumble design. I love this. I love the little switch with the the Viewmaster. It's awesome. It's great. The mix is early, and there's no risers and downlifters. It's all good. Let's listen. Your last one was great. Great, I say. Did you release that one? You can spam the chat with links, by the way. Let people know where to hear you. Nice. I like your rumble. It's good stuff. You caught me mid matcha candy. Classic smiley tab. I love the 303. Okay, I want to list a few of the things that I'm really liking about what you're doing lately and why I think it's working so well. Because I think that you're kind of working through the lens of less is more. Your mixes are kind of minimal in both your, like the number of elements in the entire mix, the size, shape, scope, like intention of each individual sound is finite, right? Everything is kind of staying in its lane, and you're giving everything all the time they need and all the space they need to develop over time, which is really fantastic because it's really hard to go on a journey otherwise. You know what I mean? So I like that you're not getting in your own way with what you're working on right now, because we're able to hear very coherently the things that you're wanting to explore. And also, it makes mixing a hell of a lot easier, right? When you're really focused on just one or two sounds on top of a beat as it's going through space. It's just easier for everyone involved. So I really, really do appreciate the less is more thing. I also, the palettes have felt fairly playful and kind of liberated. So I don't know what's happening over there. It feels like you're in a good creative spot right now. Ebbles, welcome in. Working harder on stripping back, making sure I'm exploring at least one theme concept for each track. Yeah, and that counts. Like that matters. That matters so much. I think it matters so much that I would so much rather focus our entire conversation on just that one thing than talk about any one thing that could be improved upon. Because I think that the more time you dwell in this space of, here's my singular concept, my singular idea, this is what this track is, now embellish upon or around that one singular thing. Like that right there is the growth that you're going to be kind of churning around for a while, I think. It's a bit like unlocking a whole new level when you start to realize just how simple your stuff can become, or just how much more simple you can try and make things and how much more captivating they can become as a result. So anyway, I think it's super, super profoundly important. And I think that you're really locked into a good thing here right now. This is good stuff. Keep doing it. Unemployment will do that to you. Yeah, right? It'll allow you to sit and focus on some stuff. This is fact. This is a fact. Yeah, migrating from jamming and just doing whatever to trying to execute on an idea. Yeah, this is really it. And when you're pulling something from a jam, like you're really following the muse in organic way, then everything else can kind of feel organic. Yeah, it's so true. Ebbles, yeah, I think we are. It's turned into an entire feedback stream. We will still be doing feedback on Friday, of course. Of course. All right, let's check the inbox really quick because I should have something waiting for me in there. Just a second. There we go. All right, this one's called Spadefoot. Let me just download this really quick. All right, leaky balloon, we good. We're oh, you guys don't need to see this. Leaky balloon. Doesn't really fit the vibe today. Oh, don't even worry about it. Just really looking for help and would appreciate any feedback. Yeah, so we don't really have a specific vibe here. If you were to say one thing is our vibe here, it's probably like the pursuit of excellence, maybe? I don't know. What is our vibe here, you guys? It's been a roller coaster over the years, but that might be the one constant.
Hey guys! He sits upon the wisdom, the mighty, mighty Spadefoot sits upon the hill, upon the gold, and when it all starts to die, it feels right to the Spadefoot. Everything under his thumb, save the one remainder. But the serpent always finds him, the mighty, mighty Spadefoot finds him on the hill, upon the gold, and when it all starts to die, it feels right to the Spadefoot. Everything upon his tongue, save the one remainder. Go. Starts to die, it feels right to the Spadefoot. Everything under his thumb, save the one when it all starts to die. It feels right to the Spadefoot. Everything under his thumb, save the one remainder.
All right, I'm going to jump back towards the beginning of this track again really quick.
He sits upon the wisdom, the mighty, mighty Spadefoot sits upon the hill, upon the gold, and when it all starts to die, it feels right to the Spadefoot. Everything under his thumb, save the one remainder. But the serpent always finds him, the mighty, mighty Spadefoot finds him on the hill, upon the gold, and when it all starts to die, it feels right to the Spadefoot. Everything upon his tongue, save the one remainder. Go.
Okay, this is a super good track. Super good track. I take it you're a Beatles fan. I think the storytelling is fantastic. The large majority of this is processing work. I don't think anything needs to be touched in your arrangement, and I think that you've got all of the right things here. This is really just about getting it to sound radio ready. And it's not that far off. It's just that things are sounding kind of held back, withheld, maybe even obstructed, right? Kind of hidden or buried in a couple of different spots. So really, this is about maybe 4 different operations. One, you got to go through each element in your track and carve out what you can EQ wise. So, if you're looking at mid-range elements, you're probably going to be rolling up a fair bit of their low end. If you're looking at a low end element, you're probably going to roll up. I think this track can have a 60 hertz low end cutoff somewhere around here, 12 dB per octave curve. So it should look something like this. You don't need any sub frequencies rumbling around down there in any of your tracks. But just as important as controlling the low end is controlling the top end, and making sure that if there's reverb being applied to any of the instruments in this song, that it's being done in a parallel fashion, not series, which means instead of adding reverb directly to a track like this, you would actually send the track out to an auxiliary channel and then send the sound to that channel. And then from there, you would perhaps put on your reverb. And that is so you can dial the reverb into your greater mix at a very specific level. And of course, after you've already made use of the plug-in filter controls and EQ controls, you want to also include an EQ after your reverb. And you want to make sure that you're not letting through a lot of frequencies in a track like this. As a quick reference, since Beatles were already mentioned, they did not allow reverb for the most part until they got into their more experimental stuff. They, like in their storytelling type stuff, kind of like this one, they didn't really let anything through their reverb channels that was outside of this range, about 600 hertz down and about 6K up is what they kind of capped. So this is the entire frequency range that was coming through on the reverb channels, for instance, right? It doesn't have to be this aggressive, but just making sure that you don't have frequencies in a reverb channel that aren't necessary, because those frequencies then hang out in air, and then the frequencies that are trying to cut through and get to our ears first run into those, and then they become obfuscated. They become cloudy or muddy. That's the first thing, is going through each track in your project and hitting it with an EQ. The guitar can use some overdrive, just a little saturation to help push it through, add some more harmonics up high. These drums that come in at 201 with the kind of rapid fire toms, they're really cool, and it adds awesome chaos. But also I think if you took out some low end of them, then they'll have less kind of plosive impact, if you will, and then that will be less disruptive to the rest of the mix. The other thing, also make sure that you've got an EQ after your reverb on everything. And this includes the drums, so make sure that the reverb for the drums is on an auxiliary channel and that you've got an EQ after them. That way, when there are lower frequencies that are repeating over the top of a busy spot in the song, it's not disrupting in the reverb. Yeah, Proxima, go for it. That's totally fine. Notes like you had the dark piano are huge. Okay, yeah. What kind of EQ would you use after the reverb, ideally? Just any. Like, what DAW are you using to produce your music in? Just like a regular channel EQ is totally fine. You're not doing anything super fancy. Like, this is not an over the top kind of production. So don't get too fancy or feel like you need anything fancy to achieve greatness in this one. These are going to be really simple tools and really simple things that you're executing here. And yeah, the piano is a touch dark, I think less low end, so roll up the low end like I showed you with the EQ, and then accent around 1K, and then saturate. So gentle overdrive, no grit, no like distortion being added. We're just adding a little bit of harmonics. In fact, if you want to take a quick look, let's just grab like a piano or something. Sure, we'll take this right here. This will be our example. Okay, so that's unaffected. Here's 0 dB. Now I'm just going to put overdrive on it. I'm not going to add any drive. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to target 5K, which is, I believe, what I mentioned you should probably target around. This is give or take. So again, without any processing. And this is with overdrive, but without any drive or anything being added. This is just passing it through the unit. Without. With. Out. And back again. So, and that's without any drive. So if you were to add just a bit of drive to this, and then bring down your volume to adjust. Okay, so I've just taken this down 4.5 dB. Now I'm going to turn off the EQ and listen to the original. Now with it. So this is matching the perceived loudness of where we were before, but we've now got more harmonics involved. Now we could drive this further and get a little bit more character before we actually start getting any kind of grit or distortion. So let's listen to that. Now all of a sudden you can hear there's a little bit more from the mallet. There's a little more surface texture. You can hear a little bit more ring in the note. And now if we were to turn up the volume just a little bit so we can actually hear those things, I'm just going to bring 2 more dB into the equation here. Right, you're really starting to hear it. If you get up to like 4.5 or 5 dB, you're going to get starting to get closer to no form of like hysteresis, but you're definitely going to start to hear that the wave is being agitated a bit. So that's kind of the subtle effect that I think you're going for in each one of these elements in your track. Now you're going to have to go through and do a new volume mix on your track after you get each one of your tracks inside of your project affected the way that you want them. But that should get you going in the right direction, for sure. How do I like Logic? I love Logic. I love Logic. I've been in Logic since Logic has been Logic. Yeah. And I worked in the Apple world for a long time, so I was kind of neck deep in it for reasons other than my own. You know what I mean? So I've gotten to know it pretty intimately over the years. We've got some more stuff to listen to over here, you guys. Yeah, Sav says, I have a guitar track that sounds really, really quiet for my album. I was wondering if you can do it without compression. Yes, this is, I would much rather see most of you reaching for something like this before compression to make things louder nearly 100% of the time, because compression is for something else. Compression is for making things quieter. Like that's its intended purpose, right? Saturation is intended to allow things to cut through the mix more because it's generating more harmonics. So if you're wanting something to be heard more readily, reach for saturation. If you're looking for some peaks to be tapped down and for something near the noise floor to be heard more readily, then compression is a good option. But there's like a reason to steer clear of compression as long as you can in a track. It's a shaping tool more than anything. More than anything. Yeah, Ebels, you're right. Yeah, it's when you're borrowing the circuitry, it's like a subtle little boost right at that frequency range. It's generating more harmonics from every point above that too. So if you're targeting like 5K with a simple tool like that, you're going to see the harmonics kind of ripple up from 5K. Okay, so Saffron, in your situation where your guitar is covered in reverb and delighting chorus, what you would do then is you would do an A/B comparison of your overdrive or your saturation that you're using being added at different points in the signal flow. Okay, if you add it before the chorus and the chorus is happening before the reverb, then that saturation is going to brighten up your sound. It's going to make more harmonics going into the time-based effects, right? Because both chorus and reverb are both time-based effects. So that brightness, that shimmer will be kind of creamed out through those processes. Versus if you put it after the chorus, for instance, right? Now all of a sudden the spotlight's going to be on the doubling, the short form delay that is making chorus, right? Where before the spotlight was on the tonality of the guitar, not the effect. Does that make sense? Now, if you put it on after the reverb, you're going to be blowing up the entire resulting ambience and atmosphere surrounding the sound, right? The entire bubble around the sound, not just the sound. So it's really a signal flow thing that you're knocking on the door of there. So. Ableton's all you know, but it feels right coming from video editing. That's all that matters. That's really all that matters. Like if it feels good to you, then that's it. Yeah, same with Ebels. Yeah, like if it works for you guys, then don't let anybody sway you. Proxima says saturation is so underrated. That's too sharp. Saturate and compress. Synth sounding lame. Saturation and compress. Yeah, I use saturation as a coloring tool. Let's just go back to this really quick, and then we'll get back to your stuff. Check this out. I'm gonna make this darker. Super soft. Totally supportive. Time for a solo. Crank it all the way up to 7K. Yeah, you can get quite a bit out of just saturation. You can drive the hell out of something. There we go. Now we're starting to sound like the 70s over here. You start to get the sustained resonance in there. That's some good stuff. Yeah, resonance or saturation just in general is kind of everything. Just kind of everything. Soft but warm. Yeah, exactly. So it becomes softer, so you dial up your gain, your volume. Yeah. Oh, Proxima, you have heard that riff before. It's in all sorts of stuff. The Logic loop library has been involved in a whole bunch of different hits over the years. It's so funny. Some of them are completely untouched, like unaffected too. Oh man. Paul says overdrive knob on my Nord Electro Two tries hard. Yeah. All right, let's listen to this from Phrasen. This one's called Abduction. It's nice art, by the way. All right. This is cool. I like the kind of cinematic depth and appeal of it. Although I do want a lot more dynamic range in this. The one thing that kind of bumps me throughout the entire track is how I can't get the sound and show you the waveform, or not have the sound and show you the waveform. I want big peaks and valleys. You've got a lot of peaks, but not a lot of valleys. So the drops and the transitions are super impressive sounding, but they're not super impressive feeling. And the reason is because there isn't that contrast of that positive and negative, the light and the dark. And the contrast that you're missing is the loud and the quiet, right? So when everything gets sucked down to like just a complete vacuum of silence for a split second, then the ear-shattering loudness is that much more extreme, right? And same thing goes for after the drop, right? Building up a bunch of tension. What's the release? There's usually a big hit and something hanging for a second, right? And then just the feeling of different is enough to be transformative for us. So if we're climbing to great peaks, we need to feel as though we've actually traveled that distance, or there's just no fear of imminent doom if you fall off the edge. You know what I mean? That's kind of what makes the drop so impressive. Is we're up at these dazzling, dizzying heights, and then we just like kind of free fall or fall into some other dimension at least, right? So that's really the one thing that's holding this whole thing back. I think you have a great palette of sounds. I think you have a lot of cool change ups. This is it. The other thing here is that at 236 you have an opportunity, not necessarily for like a full-on false stop, but close, because you have this sub impact there, but you quickly carry on, like it's there, but we don't stop and observe it. The music is continuing to go. But if we did stop to observe it and then came back to the music, then what is everyone going to think when that happens again in just a second, when the music is actually ending? It'd be a fun way to end this thing, but also give you an opportunity to just intentionally carve a big something out of your complete full sound and recognize the kind of impact that it has on the audience, on the person listening. Because the more you can carve away from what you've got here now, it's going to make everything that remains seem that much more monumental in the end. So, for what it's worth, the less is more effect. All right, so we've got a bit more. Pebbles. This one's called Stay With Me. Yo, Ebels, this is fantastic. Just like I've said for the past few, I think I got all the right things in all the right places. This is now a job of automation for the most part. Your sub can come down a few. You can roll the low end up on your sub to 40 hertz, or your whole track, I'm sorry, to 40 hertz, 12 dB per octave curve on that. So very gentle. Your sub will continue to just fall right out of the speakers. I'd move the piano more away from center, and I'd bring it down a few dB, so there's a little bit less competition. I'd bring the guitar up at 110, 111, whenever the little guitar solo starts there. And just in general, more volume automation, more changes in volume over time. So each time there's a change from one of the instruments, think about the player playing that instrument up on a stage in front of a live audience, right? So if the guitar is now going to solo, what's the piano player going to do? He's probably going to get a little bit more gentle. He can't move on stage, but the bass player might. He might take a step back, and the guitar player might take a step forward, right? So kind of think about the kind of dance It's a cooperative little dance that people do when playing with one another. Now make that happen with your instruments. This is a very like touching, sentimental, heartfelt, kind of intimate, genuine feeling kind of thing. So I'm really glad that you're not pushing loudness or anything like that. But I do see that your peaks are all the way up, just like I was saying in the last track. What you really need to drive home the emotional impact and the feeling of just the right thing in just the right spot at just the right time is also the dynamic relationship there, right? So we've got this kind of gentle, genuine, intimate kind of feel, but when we're looking at the waveform, it's kind of telling us a different story, right? This has been inflated a bit to a loudness that is maybe a little bit artificial for the genre, right? It feels maybe just a little bit. But look in your arrangement, try to find a couple of spots where you don't actually need too much presence for anything, right? Where can one note kind of hang over nothing to really allow us to kind of feel what just happened, for that thing to resonate? And when you've got a couple of those things in there, then you know you're pretty much done. The volume automation, players on a stage. This is it. What kind of range between decibels would you say to aim for? 3 dB? No. I think 3 dB is probably almost not even noticeable for a lot of these things. So go with bold and don't look at the numbers when you do it. In fact, I challenge you to put your finger in such a way on your mouse that you're already clicking and holding on the fader, and now you're not looking at the fader, you're listening, you're actively listening, and you're making adjustments just like that in real time, right? Just like that. And if it felt good, go ahead and record the automation that way instead of drawing it in. Just don't even look at the numbers. And when you do go back and you look at what you recorded, you might be kind of shocked, because you might see that it's a difference of like 7 to 13 decibels in some cases. And you're like, wow, I don't think I would have been that bold had I just done that point and click, or you know what I mean? So those are some of the things that cause emotional surges, right? Emotional impact comes from contrast, right? And unexpected changes, things that make you feel a certain thing. Something that perhaps was a different direction than you expected, or a different decision than maybe you expected or something. Yeah, absolutely. It should change your whole game moving forward. Ebbles is saying that single tip will change my mixing game moving forward. I never thought of using mixing as a recording opportunity for automation. No, you absolutely should. Automation is grand and it's beautiful, but it is a replacement for a person the same way that compression is a replacement for a person, right? Compression is just like Johnny on the spot, making sure that the peaks aren't going over, right? That's a pretty awful job to do all day long in a studio, so we made compressors. But it's the same kind of thing, right? This is really just like replacing your emotional response to how something feels in the moment, and it's being recorded in real time. It's a good way of thinking about it. Okay, on to the next Proxima. Three. You are welcome. Glad you appreciate it. Proxima says, high end is not mixed well on this one yet. It's okay. I like the art for it.
Three. 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 Three.
Oh.
Three. 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 Three.
This is fantastic. I love the hard stop, waiting for that 3 before it comes back to full mix. That was fantastic. I like this one. I like your heartbeat throb. I dig how the little perk evolved from the intro to the main rhythm element. I like your solid groove building. I like your use of the bit crush in there to keep the ring alive. Watch out for the resonance in the sweep and in the big reverb cloud later. Okay, 104. Right as this cool little synth disappears, you could hit it with a little delay splash just to get a couple little echoes. So it can kind of come back into the mix and in sync like that. I think it'd feel really nice. Cool use of the babble walla. It was a really nice foreshadowing to the speak and spell returning, which I hope you keep returning in future songs because it really, really works for you quite well. Love all the 3s. Why the 3? Is it because the witching hour? Evo Loop Song, welcome in. Happy hump day to you. Another nice change up at 250. That's good stuff. And the noise ambience? In my mind, I was kind of playing with the idea of what if this actually bends down?
Three. Three. Three.
Mm-hmm. 3 is purely random. Or is it? Dun 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 dun. Oh. Evo Loop Song, ambient? No, well, I was going to make an ambient song, and then these guys kept on dropping tracks, and we've just been doing feedback pretty much all morning, which is good because they're making good stuff right now. It's good stuff. All right, this one is from Z4. Who is Caballo, right? Right? Yeah. Okay. That's great. I am French, and my English is French. I hear you. Caballo, this is really nice. I would just like to say very, very nice. Similar to what I was saying earlier about having space to use more noise, kind of like what you're doing here, right? Sample of room tone, tape, hiss. Just trust your gut and lean into it more. And I think playing with more than one kind of medium noise for you might be awesome sauce, right? Like juxtaposing vinyl and tape together in a track like this, which is obviously being produced digitally. There's just a certain measure of beauty in that, right? If done tastefully. 138, I'd love to hear just some really lazy, gentle taps on a ride cymbal here and there, and maybe that the hi-hat open and sizzle just a tiny bit, just not quite closed all the way here and there would be so nice. It would bring a level of subtle variety and humanization to this whole thing. It would be a big buy-in. I think it would be very transformative. Just having a little bit of slack cymbal play. 214, wanting some subtle resequencing and re-triggering just to push against my expectations. Even if it's just the sound, like the essence of re-triggering occurring and the the arrangement, the composition continues forward. Just those hesitations and stutters and jitters can bring so much aesthetically pleasing stuff, right? So much satisfaction to the table that we just want more of it. And I wouldn't say no to some horn, you know, some muted trumpet, maybe some soft sax, or yeah. I can hear it. I can hear it. Yeah, some really good stuff on me. Some good stuff in here. And Eva Loop Song has got one here. Hi, Kwame. Ebels, if you want to do another. Kwame might want to. You bring anything, Kwame? Salute from Argentina. Excellent. Hey, Danny's here. What up, Danny? I'm Imaginate in the chat. Everybody follow Imaginate if you're not already. Absolutely brilliant. Ooh, Kwame is working on a master right now for a video game soundtrack he did. Yeah, you can send that in. Yeah, Ebels, you got that one. Kwame's going to drop one. Then I think we're going to close the queue. I didn't make anything in today's stream. I was saying I didn't really feel like working, didn't I? Yeah, well, Eva Loop Song is up in front of you, Ebels, and then that'll probably give enough time for Kwame to bounce whatever he's cooking over there. Ooh, hold on a second. Danny has revamped the website. Great imagery, homie. Great imagery. Yeah, this is good stuff, man. I love all these quotes. Really good stuff. Hey, you know that guy? In the duality reviews, I just saw that. I just saw that I was in there. Oh, you are welcome, dude. It's an honor. Everybody who's not following Danny and his Imaginate project, click on the link in the chat. Go follow him. Give him a follow. Give him some listens. Put his stuff into your playlists. Life will never be the change. Never be the change. Never be the same. Wow. All right. Eva Loop Song. Let's listen to you. Oh, we've got a few here. Do I just hit play on the first one? Yo, this is great. Um, yeah, I want to sit here and listen to. I have no idea how many are in here, but there's 4. It's really good. Uh, One, I like the palette. I think that the backing vocals do get caught up in this kind of array of other similar frequency range sounds in that moment. So offsetting their position in the stereo field, the other sounds is probably the best solution here. You want to keep the vocals in the center, probably, and then let the other ones kind of scatter, and that'll probably help us keep a little bit more direct focus on them. Little reverb on the snare clap would feel good. It feels just a little bit dry for the kind of big production around it. Really great pairing of the stringed instruments and the tonal vocals. Really, really nice. Very satisfying. Wanting more consistency between the vocal samples, though. Some of them felt like there was a significant shift in perceived loudness and presence. So getting all of them up to a similar standard, I think, would be really nice. It would help all of them feel like they were really intentionally sitting up on top of the mix as like a driving force of the song. And then just to finish this, just a little bit more glue, just a little bit more volume balancing. It felt like there were at times a few different elements popping off at the same time when they could be offset or staggered just slightly, and then their pan position could be creating a little bit more separation for them. And then if their volumes were staggered just a little bit more, we'd be able to discern each individual sound a little bit more. And then once that volume balancing is done, just a little bit of simple saturation over the top to help kind of generate a little more loudness and harmonics from them, help it all kind of cook as a soup, if you will. And then just a little bit of compression to kind of pull up those lesser heard elements and kind of lock them into place in the mix. Allow those more prominent sounds to become just a little bit more emboldened. I think that's kind of the sweet spot. Awesome. Yep. Yeah, you are welcome. I'm glad it all resonates with you. Ebbles, there's another one here for you. This is a collab. Let's see what this one's all about. Ebble says, my track is still in rough production stage, not much in terms of mixing yet. Just this file from my collab artist, actually. So I'm going to be chopping off the guitar, balancing the piano and guitar quite a bit. Yeah, this is solid. I feel like this one has a ton of mainstream licensing value to it. The secret, if this is what you're producing for, then the secret is to make it as supportive as possible. And the snare can be filtered down just a little bit more. It's hitting just a tad hard in the mid-high area, and it's grabbing attention, and you don't want it to grab attention, right? So if this is for an upload to a licensing portfolio, you'll easily sell more if you take that down in both volume and frequency just a little bit. It's a little grabby. 125 would be lovely to have the guitar recordings offset just a hair more here. We can hear these. They're quite lovely together. But they also feel like they're pretty much spot on the grid. That's pretty hard to have happen with real humans. So if they were offset just a little bit, I think it'd be great. Yeah. And I wouldn't touch this too much otherwise, honestly. If you go in there and you start fiddling too much, you're bound to touch something that you don't want to change, and that'd be a shame. Kwame. Oh, also bring up the low end cutoff on this one to about 50 hertz, 12 dB per octave curve. Don't need quite as low. Pretty happy with the overall value, just moving some of the guitar. Yeah, I think so. I think it's an easy fix, and it'll bring a ton of organic feels to it, having them slightly off grid. Kwame. Terminus. Kwame says, mine's a little long, so you don't have to listen to the whole thing. All good. You bet, Ebbles. I hope it resonates with you. Helps you make it even better. All that. This is Kwame Syndremic. A little different. Yeah, you just did this for a game. Kwame. All right. Let me know when you're done blushing so we can start talking. Link to the game in the description. Nice. Okay, so the ambience here at the beginning and there at the end has a bunch of surface texture. I think you can attenuate it gently with the filter rolling off the highest freaks, just 6 dB per octave curve and super gentle. And maybe that just gets automated slowly down directly after the onset of the sound in the intro. So by the time the drums hit, the surface texture of the ambience has come down a bit and it's no longer grabbing our ears in the same way. Maybe something like that. The other thing is the sub. It's super hot. Just bring it down a good 8 dB or so to start. And then bring the whole project down at least 4 LUFS. At least, maybe 6. And it's really just because I feel like the whole thing hinges on this sense of like proximity and vulnerability, and like there's a very kind of tenuous feeling to a lot of this, and there's this lovely gentle tension kind of coursing through it. So it needs to have this gentle delivery to it. It can't be up in your face. It'll still feel just as huge. Really love the detuned nature of this moment around 5 minutes. It's so nice. Love how you resolve it at 6. Wanting the strings to have a slightly longer release so they feel less rushed and more at ease, so they're gonna like kind of overlap just a little bit and feel slightly more kind of cascading in a way, I guess. And then creative question for you. Is this whole thing just a few BPM quicker than it should be? Love that with the strings. Good. Still proud of this project. Good. You should be proud of this project. This is like out of your comfort zone, out of your normal wheelhouse, and it's great. I could def slow it down. I don't know the original BPM. Just try to warp it. Yeah, this is feeling pretty good. Yeah, bring down the loudness so it doesn't feel forced. Make us lean in a little bit. Make us want a little bit more than we're actually getting. And then that way, when those big sub impacts happen later, we're just like, ooh. Because we're all leaned in, right? We're all just like, give us more. And then you hit us in the face with these things, you know? But I do think maybe if you slow it down just a few BPM and bounce it and listen to it again, especially there towards the end with those strings and the rate at which they are coming and the aesthetic and how it's translating, it feels like it's being pushed in tempo just a little bit there to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. They felt rushed for sure. Okay, yeah. So, and it's also entirely possible that you've got a multi-tempo track, which someone like you is an inevitability if you're going to step into this cinematic soundscape thing. I don't see how someone like you operates without it, honestly. I think that you have a lot of emotional swells in your arsenal, and the type of palettes that you gravitate toward also lend themselves to their own unique delivery, which means you might find yourself moving between very slow tempo, almost kind of methodical feeling sections into high tempo, more gripping action paced stuff. Not uncommon. All right, Timik? T1 Michk? Timch? I don't want to wreck this name, but I'm afraid I already have. It's called Tacos Beat, though, which is cool. I like tacos and beats. I want to run through a brick wall right now. Rah! You're doing great, Kwame. You're doing so great. This is so good. This is great. Let us know when it's done. All right. Let's listen to this Tacos Beat. Cody Modi loved it, so you know it's good. Cody Modi, it's good to have you back in the mix, homie. Happy New Year. Where have you been? Hope you're well. I think that's it. We love you, homie. Here we go. Tacos Beat. No worries. Internet died. I'm not sure how to say your name. Mitch, maybe? Saying there's a quick story here on this track. I was drunk eating tacos at my 15th birthday, and this was the result. Okay, I like this. I think the sub bass is really dominating everything. So sub down 12 dB, and make sure that if you're making this type of music, just process your sub bass separately from the rest of the track. So the rest of the track is not having its compression triggered into action by the sub bass. Because what it sounds like here is that everything in the mix is being attenuated constantly because the sub bass is active quite a bit. So take the sub bass down and don't allow it to be part of the compression mix. It's going to be loud enough as it is. It's a sub bass. And then everything else is going to sound fantastic. All of the other things need to come up in presence. And I think that when you hear the horns ringing kind of like true and proud, then you know you've kind of got your mix to a good loudness state. One thing that you will also want to do is go through the individual tracks in your project and make sure that there's no sub frequencies in any of your sounds. So the your 808 is the only thing that does have sub frequencies in it. So it gets rid of all the muddying effect that we've got in there now. And that's it. Excellent. Excellent. Taiwan MCH. I appreciate your song, man. I think that this is it's fun. It's got a lot of like real genuine party energy in it. So happy birthday, by the way. And happy new year. We've been going, you guys, for a few hours. Let's see what happens when I refresh this thing over here, kick the box, and see who's streaming. Kwame, I can't get over what we just heard from you, homie. It's fantastic stuff. I love it. I love it. I want to hear more of it. Everyone's getting more cinematic. Huh. All right, let's see here. Who is up? Ba-ba-da. Oh, Thuggy's up. Oh, she's got a ton of people there already. Let's go help out someone that doesn't have a bunch of people in there right now. Oracle's got a ton of people. Shoes is loaded. People are doing well today. All right. I think we're going to go visit E-Town. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to go take this raid somewhere else. We'll see you in 2 days' time. Feedback Friday. If you want to be heard, get in early. People are back from vacation. I'm sure it's going to be really busy on Friday. So get there early. Get your stuff in to the queue early to be heard. And then stick around for a really good time. Stay inspired between now and then. And I will see you on the flip. Appreciate y'all. Peace out.